Hi everyone, it's Marie here again. I'm going to be making a really simple Christmas card, and I'm starting off with this craft card base. This is a 5x7 card from Canvas Corp brands. And now I'm giving you a little glimpse of a Farmhouse Christmas mix and match pad, and this is from Canvas Corp as well. I just wanted to show you that because I'm going to be using some burlap and some papers from that mix and match pad. And for the background, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this wood grain stamp. This is a Heidi Swamp stamp, and I have it mounted on my stamp press because I'm going to have to stamp it several times because it doesn't cover the whole card base. And I like my stamp press because I can kind of see where I'm lining up my stamps, and it makes it a little bit easier to get a good stamp when you're trying to continue a background. So I went ahead and I inked up the stamp with some ground espresso distress ink. It's just a really dark brown, and that's kind of what I was going for. So I'm going to go ahead and press it down on my card base, and then you'll see that I need to ink it up again and kind of stamp that top little piece that didn't get stamped. So I'm just using some more of that distressed ink, just inking up the top part of the stamp, and then I'm going to flip my stamp press over and just line it up the best as I can, and then press it down. I know it's not lined up perfectly, but I am going to put some embellishments over that line, so I'm trying to do the best that I can, but I'm not worried if it's not perfect. So now my back wood grain background is stamped, and I'm taking some gathered twigs. This is a lighter brown, and I'm just going to distress ink all the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up because it takes a minute to get all the edges inked up. But I'm just kind of creating a darker border along the outside, and then the inside middle is kind of a highlighted or a spotlighted kind of look. So I've got that done, and I can go ahead with the rest of my card. I cleaned up my craft mat so I don't get ink everywhere. And now I'm taking a little piece of burlap that I cut out from that mix and match pad, and this little Christmas card or tag or whatever you want to call it, and that's also from the Farmhouse Christmas mix and match pad. Now I'm showing you this little poinsettia that I created from the Sizzix die set. This is their pillow box die set. It's a Christmas pillow box. And I put that poinsettia together, and I spritzed it with some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and the color I used was Vintage Brass. It just gave it a really nice golden kind of shine to it. Now, the way I colored my poinsettia is that I used some red distress inks, and I just kind of stacked it together, and then I did distress inks for the leaves on my poinsettia as well. Now I'm just using my ATG to adhere down my burlap. There's probably a better glue that you could use for your burlap or your fabrics, but I found that my ATG kind of works fine, and it's always really handy. It's right there, easy to grab, so I kind of end up going back to it all the time. So I'm adhering that burlap down, and I'm also going to be adhering down this little paper tag or card that I cut out from the mix and match pad. Just putting that right over the burlap, so the burlap gives it kind of a nice textured border. And then I wanted to put a little twine bow on there, so I'm grabbing a piece of twine. This is from Canvas Corp brands as well. And when you have a card that folds on the side and you kind of want to wrap some twine around it, all you need to do is take your scissors and just kind of cut a little notch out of the side. It's a little bit scary if you haven't done this before because you're cutting into your card, but you don't have to make a really big hole. You can just make a little notch cut out, and then just push your string or your cord or anything through, and it ends up looking really good, and nobody notices that you cut a little hole in the side of your card. So I went ahead and I tied a bow, and now I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to put my poinsettia, and I'm using my ATG to adhere that down as well. So I'm just putting that down on that bottom left corner, and then I'm going to arrange my little leaves behind it. So this is a really simple card. It takes a little bit to get the background done and assemble your poinsettia, which I did beforehand. But if you only need to make like 10 or 15 Christmas cards like I do, this is perfect. It's not one of those quick assembly line type cards, but it's not totally a lot of work, so you can kind of make some really nice handmade cards with a little bit more of a special touch, but they're also really easy that you can make several of them at once. So I have all of my little pieces glued down here, and that's pretty much the card. But I did want to add one last detail just to kind of make it pop a little bit. So I'm going to grab my Tattered Angels Decor and DIY paint. This is the color Crystal, which is just a really nice bright white, and I just love this color. This container I've actually used up already, so it was pretty much empty, but I added a little bit of water, and I'm stirring it up because I just want to use a little bit of that paint and put some splatters on. So I grabbed an old paintbrush and I'm just stirring it up, getting it mixed in with that water, and then I'm just going to tap my paintbrush and add splatters sort of on the bottom left corner and up in the top of my card. So it kind of gives you an impression that it's maybe some snow or some frost on your card, and it just adds a little bit more texture and detail, and I really just liked that look. And that's really all that I'm going to do to this card. I think it's pretty much finished. If you liked it, if you want to see where I got my products, I'll have a link to Canvas Corp Brand's shop. And you can go over there and check it out. They have lots of stuff that's perfect for Christmas if you're looking for Christmas cards. But otherwise, that's it for today's video. And I thank you so much for coming over and watching. And I hope I'll catch you in the future with more videos. So thanks for watching. Bye.